The NBA is a league built on rivalries and personal narratives, and nothing fuels a player's fire more than a trade that feels like a betrayal. In the 2025-2026 season is set to feature a number of high-stakes revenge games as star players look to prove their former teams they made a mistake by moving on. And here is a list of players who have something to prove. Starting off the list with Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic versus the Dallas Mavericks. After a long and complicated tenure with Dallas that included an NBA Finals appearance, Doncic was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis and picks. The Mavs' decision, which included drafting Cooper Flag, was widely criticized as one of the most lopsided trades in NBA history. So Doncic is on a revenge mission, and he will seek to prove the Dallas Mavericks gave up on a generational talent. Every game against his former team will be a chance to demonstrate his value and elite skill set. Next on the list, we have Kevin Durant versus the Phoenix Suns. So Durant's time with Phoenix was short-lived and disappointing, ending with a trade to the Houston Rockets after the Suns front office decided to blow up the star-heavy roster. So Durant was on a revenge mission, and he wants to prove he's still a top 10 player in the world. Dominating against his former team will be a perfect way to show that Phoenix should have committed to him as their centerpiece. Then we've got Jalen Green versus the Houston Rockets. So Green was a centerpiece of the Kevin Durant trade, a clear message from the Rockets that he was no longer a cornerstone of the franchise, and he's the former number 2 pick in the 2021 NBA draft. And that beef between him and Kid Cunningham is something I've been looking forward to. But Green this season, he's on a revenge mission, and Green will still want to show Houston the dynamic offensive talent they gave up on, and he'll be looking for big scoring nights to reestablish his star power and prove the Rockets acted too soon. Then we got Michael Porter Jr. versus the Denver Nuggets. So despite winning a championship with the Nuggets, Porter Jr. was traded to the Brooklyn Nets for Cam Johnson, and persistent injury concern and his contract made him expendable in Denver's long-term plan. So Porter Jr. believes he is capable of more than just a third option role, and facing his former team will be his platform to show that what he can do as a primary scorer for the Brooklyn Nets. They've got Anthony Davis versus the Los Angeles Lakers. So, man, as a Laker fan, I really enjoy Anthony Davis, and his time when he was playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, and I was really caught in shock when that trade happened, that swap between AD and Luka Doncic. So Davis' tenure with the Lakers ended when he was traded to the Dallas Mavericks in the blockbuster Luka Doncic deal. While he was a key part in the 2020 championship, questions about his durability and fit led to the trade. And Davis is on a revenge mission as well, and he wants to prove that he's still an elite two-way star, and his revenge will come from shutting down the paint and dominating the boards against his former team, forcing them to feel his absence. And man, the Lakers still feel his absence till this day. Then we've got Desmond Bane versus the Memphis Grizzlies. So Desmond Bane was a fan favorite and a key part of the Grizzlies' young core before being surprisingly traded to the Orlando Magic for a package of 4 first-round picks and players. And man, this was something I never saw coming, and we talked about it in this channel, but it didn't make sense to me at all. But anyway, it is what it is. So Desmond Bane will play an extra edge against his former team, and he'll also have an extra edge against his former team that he's been on, using his two-way skills to prove Memphis was wrong to trade him for draft assets and draft capital like that. So this is a move that caught me off guard. But anyway, the NBA is it's a business at the end of the day. So we have next on the list Miles Turner versus the Indiana Pacers. After years of trade rumors, Turner was officially traded by the Indiana Pacers to the Milwaukee Bucks. Despite helping them reach the NBA Finals, he likely felt unappreciated for his consistent contributions, and Turner will want to prove he should have been on the long-term plans and the long-term answer for the Pacers, and he'll look to dominate on both ends of the floor. And working with Giannis Antetokounmpo and being his co-star is something that was a missing piece for the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Bucks kind of came out on top on this one. And the Bucks, I'll be looking forward to seeing what the Bucks and Giannis do this season. So next up on the list, we've got Kristaps Porzingis versus the Boston Celtics. So the injuries limited Kristaps Porzingis' time with the Celtics, leading to a trade to the Atlanta Hawks. The move was a financial decision by the Celtics, and Porzingis will still want to show the Celtics what they gave up on. And it was a purely business transaction because the Celtics wanted to go under the cap and go beneath the luxury tax. And Kristaps Porzingis looks to use his full offensive arsenal and defensive presence to remind the Celtics why they won the championship in 2024 and also be an asset for the Atlanta Hawks. Then we've got Norman Powell versus Los Angeles Clippers. So the Clippers traded their reliable Norman Powell to the Miami Heat despite his strong performance last season. This move was likely due to age and salary concerns. So Norman Powell thrives on being underestimated, and he will treat games against the Clippers as a personal showcase, aiming to outscore his former teammates and prove his value. And last but not least, we've got John Collins versus the Utah Jazz. So Collins' time with the Utah Jazz was brief and ended in a trade to the Los Angeles Clippers, a sign that he was not considered part of their long-term plans. And John Collins wants to prove he was never the problem in Utah, and he will look to dominate this season using his athleticism and physicality to show the Jazz they made a mistake.